Mathew DeFreitas, and you are in the collaboration space. Today, we're diving into the federal landscape and looking at federal agencies and departments and the different strict compliance and security requirements they have. Especially as AV and UC technologies grow, those requirements shift too. To explore what that looks like today, I'm joined by AVI-SPL Federal Engineering Manager Chuck Fiorentino and Philips' Director of Professional Displays, Bruce Wyrwitzke. Gentlemen, welcome to the collaboration space.
Thank you, Maggie. Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thank you both again for joining. Bruce, let's start off with you. Could you share a little background on your role at Philips and its connection to the federal environment?
Sure. I'm going to start first with my federal background. I have a little bit of an unusual background for a sales guy, especially in the Pro AV space. I'm a former Air Force officer and a former defense consultant with Booz Allen. So working with the federal government, specifically in the defense space, has always been top of mind for me. When I first came to Philips 4 years ago, this was really an overlooked space. And as the sales director, I've been able to push our focus towards developing really a specific product line to support the needs of the federal government. Being able to work with partners such as AVI-SPL has really allowed me to engage more with those specific federal agencies and really to help us to transform the product offering to meet those specific needs.
Awesome. Well, first, thank you so much for your service, and look forward to chatting with you more today about our topic. Chuck, same question to you. Could you give us a little background on your role at AVI-SPL?
Sure, I lead our federal engineering practice. I make sure any solution that we provide to the government is compliant. This is a heavily regulated market, the federal market. So it's got tons of regulations and compliance requirements, and my team has to make sure anything that AVI-SPL goes after and provides and delivers is fully compliant with all federal regulations.
We're definitely diving right into security and compliance today. So I think we have the right person on the podcast. Chuck, what's happening in the federal space right now when it comes to compliance and security requirements?
In the federal space, kind of what's been passed in the past 5 years, there's been TAA compliance as a requirement, but it's not been as heavily regulated and mandated as it is today. With the latest tariffs and the Trade Agreement Act is first and foremost, and anything that we provide to the U.S. government, the federal government, has to be TAA compliant. And my team scours the AVI-SPL suppliers to find those products that we can deliver. And having a supplier like Philips in the LCD market is key. The second thing we do is we do a lot of command and control spaces. We do a lot of mission critical. So having products that are rated for 24/7, having products that are, we'll say, secure, and what that means for us on a solution, especially those that are going in a secure area, that it has no embedded Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, any embedded communications are not there. So having a supplier like Philips have a secure line, critical, very critical for our team.
Bruce, are you hearing similar trends?
We really are. I look at it from a slightly different perspective, though. I'm not looking necessarily at the documentation, the compliance requirements in that. I'm looking at the why. The why are the requirements set the way they are? Our initial focus was into the secure space. A lot of that has to do with that's what I was most familiar with in the areas I was working in. You will see us expand our TAA product line out into the other less mission critical, where we're more concerned with country of origin and the trade agreements. But I'm gonna segue real quick and just do a quick story so you kind of understand the point I'm coming from with the why behind the compliance. And back in my Air Force days, I used to go present to DISA on a quarterly basis, giving them an update on the health of the constellation for the communication satellite I was working on. And during one of those meetings, the network manager for the program, a guy by the name of Bill Harrison, amazing man, very passionate about what he does. He emphatically made a statement, and he said, "There's a direct correlation between loss of comm and the number of body bags that are sent home." I still get goosebumps when I say this. You know, that comment has stuck with me for 30 years. So this isn't about just meeting a requirement on paper. There's a why behind all of that and why what we're doing. You know, so while defense communication has evolved over the years, you know, from encrypted versions of Morse code, to put it at its most basic point, to voice, and now real-time video, you know, our reliance on communication has increased, you know, exponentially, if not even, you know, more than that. So in my mind, you know, this isn't about just selling more displays to the government. For me, this is it's much more personal. It's about providing a secure and reliable product that's part of a much larger decision-making solution that helps safely bring our men and women home. So that's the take where I'm coming from with the products that I'm trying to push forward. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. It's a little bit different than how most people take it, but it's that personal aspect that I'm really going for.
No, and that definitely speaks to security as a whole and why the different aspects that we've talked about, the TAA compliance, among other regulatory compliances, are so inherent or needed rather because of what you just described. And so I understand you have a secure series of displays and feature-rich line, if you will, that helps in those scenarios that you described.
Correct. Yeah, so we started from the ground up. We went out, we started asking questions, you know, what is the federal government looking for to put in these secure spaces? The most common themes, you know, no SoC, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth. They wanted no external comms other than the data cable going into the display to show the content was there. So that's what we did. We didn't take an existing display and start ripping pieces out or disabling them. We built it from the ground up to specifically meet that market with what they were looking for. Now, I know you've talked a little bit about secure versus non-secure. We we do recognize there are a lot of needs in that space, and we will be moving in that direction, you know, in the coming months and coming years, and you'll see a lot more from us. But for now, we are really focused on, you know, what Chuck had mentioned, the control room and the mission critical type applications.
And so, Bruce, when we're looking at those applications, what are some of the characteristics that you're trying to bring out?
Two real pieces, you know, security being one. We want virtually no way that display can be compromised where someone could get back to the source. And the second piece is reliability. You know, that's why these are 24/7. They have, you know, enhanced power supplies in them, so the chances of failure are much, much more reduced. There's more than likely they're not going to be used in a 24/7 situation, but there will be points in time where they could be on where there's an ongoing mission that lasts 24 hours to multiple days, and you can't have a failure in a situation like that.
Chuck, I'd love to bring you back in here real quick. I know your team fields requests regularly for compliance solutions that speak to what Bruce just spoke about. And I'm curious, you know, could you share an example where, you know, Philips displays really helped you on your end and deliver on that truly secure solution in that mission critical environment?
You know, Philips is probably one of the very few LCD suppliers for us that kind of check all the boxes. We recently had a military construction bid that we're bidding on for a military end user. Can't really say their name, but the whole building had various requirements, and Philips, it's very rare for us to provide one manufacturer to fit the bill for everything. And this building had everything. Of course, it was a federal government building, so all the products had to be TAA. They had a SCIF area, a secure area within the building. So we needed their secure series, and we needed them to be 24/7. So that was helpful for that area, and not have any comms. So as Bruce had mentioned, um, they wanted every size for that building from 32 to 98. So I didn't have to go to another vendor to find another size. Basically, Philips has everything TAA in their 32 to 98 size. Very critical there. All of these are critical, but it was like, great, I don't have to bring in another manufacturer to provide that requirement. They had some lobby and digital signage areas at their elevators that they wanted portrait mode. So most of those displays, their 32 to 98 support portrait mode, which was good. And they had a little security operations center that had a need for a 2x2 LCD video wall. So Philips also met that requirement there. Again, it was critical that they met every specification. I didn't have to bring in another manufacturer. No, I forgot the key point. The government wants 5-year warranty, and Philips is able to provide that on their secure line. So it came with a 5-year warranty, and we didn't have to add an additional charge for any of that.
Sounds like there was definitely a massive depth in the offering that came with that project. I'll bring Bruce back in here. To Chuck's point, Philips definitely has a wide depth of display capabilities. Bruce, could you speak more to that, and what the different aspects of the product line can offer for the federal landscape?
Sure, Matthew. As Chuck had mentioned, we've got 32-inch through 98. There's no SoC, no Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi, so you meet all those requirements out of the box. They do have an OPS slot though, so if you have an application where they do want to turn, I hate the term, dumb display into a smart display, you do have an option of putting an OPS in and converting that into a much more feature-rich. If you were putting it in a regular lobby where that might not mean as much, you would be okay. So there is that added flexibility. We also have the 55-inch video wall panels that are TAA compliant. So we cover all those aspects. As mentioned before, we are looking to expand that portfolio. We've heard people wanting TAA displays that even have tuners in them. And so we do have a line right now it is built in Mexico, but still we're not at the point where we're comfortable with classifying it as TAA yet because of some of the components. But as we work through that again in the very near future, we're hoping to have that full offering of everything that they could possibly want. As Chuck mentioned too, for federal government, it's 5-year standard out of the box on the 24/7. So I think that's, if not the best, one of the best warranties that's out there straight away without doing any sort of extension. We're able to do that for one reason only. We don't see failures. A lot of that comes down to having a robust power supply in there. So we're very pleased with the product, and so far everyone that's had the product in their hands has been quite pleased with it as well.
Bruce, Chuck, thank you both for joining me today and giving us a peek behind the curtain into federal AV. I'm sure our listeners have learned a lot from your stories and advice. And if our listeners or viewers would like to learn more about the Philips TAA compliant displays, you can check out links in our show notes below. You can also find AV and UC solutions and insights from AVI-SPL that support everything from civilian agencies to mission-critical environments. Bruce, Chuck, thanks again for your time today.
Thank you, Matthew.
Appreciate it, Matt.
And thanks to everyone watching and listening to the collaboration space today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, you'll be able to find us anywhere on your favorite podcast app. Until next time, goodbye for now. For more information, visit avispl.com/Philips.